So this lesson is about changes to the class pyramid, changes to the class system. This is for Year 10 inequality. In the book, we're on page 188, if you're going to follow it on there. So we're going to learn about some recent changes to the pyramid, the class structure of Britain, that means. To understand these changes, and by doing that, you're developing your sociological analysis, thinking skills. Keywords: lifestyle, embourgeoisement, what a corker, manual middle class, self-employed, proletarianisation, another corker, call centres, factories, supervised. So lifestyle is the style in which you live, where you live, the cars you have, the clothes you wear, TV programs you watch, etc., etc., your lifestyle. Embourgeoisement is a group becoming bourgeois. Manual middle class, strange one. You're middle class but you're not very highly skilled. Self-employed, obviously. Proletarianisation, when middle class people become more working class. Call centres, where factories, you ring them up and they'll tell you about your bank statement or whatever. Factories, supervised, just means being watched. Okay? So, two things have been noticed in the last 20, 30 years. First off, there have been some big changes to the working class in Britain. Number one, lots of them, not all, lots of them, are becoming more prosperous. They're enjoying a much more middle-class lifestyle. They might be self-employed, things like builders, making more money, working for themselves. So they feel less working class. They feel a bit more middle class. They have nicer cars, nicer houses, better holidays. It's a bit less of this and a bit more Essex. So this is referred to as embourgeoisement. You're still working class. Your job is still a working class job. It's just that in your head you feel a little bit more middle class. You feel like you're becoming bourgeois. You feel like you're not really part of the working class anymore. So you have a situation where some members of the working class despise these people. They don't feel like they're part of the same group anymore. So we used to have this, the working class, being proud of being working class, feeling together, working together. It's much more separate, disparate is the word. The group we notice most of this is in the south of England, self-employed, and often in the last 30 years have been willing to vote Conservative. It's a big change, this, a big thing that really stands out. We'll talk about, obviously, we'll make a lot more notes on this, talk about it a lot more in class with some details and some examples from you, hopefully. At the same time, it's been noticed that the middle class has also started to change. There's lots of new, lower middle class jobs have been created, in particular jobs like these. Call centres. You're in your little cubicle, you've got your computer, you've got your headphones on, things like call centres, this sort of stuff. It's definitely middle class. These are definitely middle class jobs. You're not working in a factory, you're not making anything. You're on the phone, you're in an office, etc., etc. And they've squeezed into C3, the intermediate class. You look in the class pyramid diagram to your left right now in the classroom, you'll notice that this is the bit, intermediate, as what's grown. Middle class, intermediate. However, if you look, the income and the status of these new jobs is quite low. They're middle class, but without the high status. The question is, why? How can you be middle class without that? Well, here's the answer, we think. Things like call centres are much more like factories in previous middle class jobs. In a call centre, if you're one of these women here, in this call centre, you work to a script, someone rings you up, you've got a script you must stick to or you'll get in trouble. That's not like a normal middle class job. In a normal middle class job, you have a lot more autonomy. You do your job the way you think you should do your job, and you're left to it unless there's a problem. With these sorts of jobs, you have much less autonomy. You are quite tightly supervised. There'll be somebody listening in on your conversations sometimes. People watching you. You can't just go to the toilet when you want. You've got to ask permission. These are middle-class jobs, but in a lot of ways people are treated much more like the working class used to be in factories. And it's this that is called proletarianisation. Middle-class jobs, but the people in them are low-skilled and they are being treated as if they're working class.